Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. So a big thank you to Travis from airgunsource.ca for sending me this Diana Trailscout. This is the 22 caliber version. I do have the 177 and I've been really itching to try this one out. And definitely going to be doing a comparison video against the 177 as well. Now, if you're looking at the PAL rated versions of these guns, the 177 is 660 feet per second rating and the 22 would be 560 feet per second. This is a non-PAL version. Anyways, let's get the box opened up, shall we? I gotta tell you, these guns, I'm really impressed with the 177 cal of this gun. I'm hoping the same for the 22 caliber version. I saw like basically one video, well, a couple videos, same guy, for the 22 cal version, but no review, no, you know, testing out a bunch of pellets, fine, and then he modded the daylights out of the thing, and it didn't even look like the same gun again. But anyways, so we do have a manual here, and so I wanted to check this thing out myself, because I am, like I said, very impressed with the 177 cal version. The power level is really good. Shot count is amazing on it. Just a fantastic rifle. Really enjoying it. So we have our rifle, we have our cap. Now the cap is not installed on the gun, it's in a separate little compartment here, so we'll just put this here. Now the bolt is on the right hand side, okay? And you do have an adjustable trigger as well. Block safety, of course, in front. It's a very thin stock too, and these things are like really lightweight as well. You do have a set of open sights, as well as a dovetailed receiver for your optics. Of course, being that we live in Canada, we're not allowed to have the muzzle brake suppressor. Not that I think it would make much of a difference anyhow, because even the 177 is extremely quiet. So even without a suppressor on it. Anyways, so we do have a little package of some extra seals, and of course, this is our CO2 adapter so that we can get all 3 bottles in there. So yes, it does use 3 bottles of gas, but you do get, like I said, amazing shot count out of the 177. So we will see what the 22 is like. We also have our clip magazine as well. Now this one here in the 22, this is going to be a 7-shot. You get 9 in the 177. And that's the end of the goodies. Now it does have this nice foam insert too, so if you want to keep your box for storage, this is cool because you can keep pellets in here, you can keep, you know, extra mags here, of course, and other stuff, and of course your rifle. And so I keep a lot of my boxes these days. A lot of the reason is for warranty, but something like the Scout, if I wanted to store my Scouts for the winter time, because I'm not going to shoot CO2 gas in the winter, then I can put them in the box and just up in the closet and out of the way, so I'd be able to do that as well. Anyways, so let's take a good look over at the gun here. Now, one thing I will say too is always check the screws from the factory. I did find out with my 177 I had to tighten up the barrel band. I will be going over these screws just to make sure everything's good and solid in here. But yeah, it's looking like, well, let's... Ooh, nice sensitive trigger, just like the 177. Super easy to cock. Cool. Alright, now, the stock, by the way, is not ambidextrous. It is set up with a cheek piece. If you're a right-handed shooter, I've never bothered to even consider cheek pieces on any guns. Some of my guns have them, some of them are ambidextrous, and of course the Diana's is for a right-handed shooter, but even I can hold the gun like this and it doesn't interfere or bother me one bit, so we're all good there. Anyway, so I guess our next thing we want to do is we want to chronograph the gun. It is still nice outside today. I'm hoping the wind dies down a little bit more. If it does, we will do an initial accuracy test with open sights. I will be putting a scope on this for accuracy testing as well, but before I do any of the accuracy stuff, I wanted to see if I can find a pellet or a couple of pellets in my collection that the gun is going to like. I did find that the 177 version, it loves Hades pellets. It also adores completely the Predators, right? And I do have a ton of Predator pellets to test in this as well, and I don't have any Hades in 22 though. They ran out of stock of those, or I would have actually gotten some, because those Hades pellets are actually pretty cool. Anyways, so I'm going to go over the gun. I'll get some CO2 in it, and I will see you guys out in the shop where we're going to chronograph the gun with a few different pellet weights and see what kind of speeds this thing is putting out. And yeah, we'll continue on. Don't go away, instant for you. Alright guys, so we are out with the Diana. We've got 3 fresh bottles of Crosman CO2 in this thing. By the way, these things do puncture Crosman CO2s really good. So we're going to start off from the lightest to the heaviest. So we've got some 11 grain, actually, yeah, we got to go this way. So we've got 8.4 grain Prometheus. We have some 11.9 grain Hobbies. 14.3 Crosman pointed Premiers. Of course, our 16 grain Predators, which I'm sure the gun's going to love. And I've got some 21.14 grain Barracuda pellets. Love Barracudas. Well, my QB loves them too. So, anyway, so let's focus over to the Chrony here and get zoomed in. And I'm going to do 3 shots of each pellet, and we're going to see what kind of speeds we're getting. Now, I am going to do 1 official dry fire shot, because one thing I've noticed is on your first shot it's always a little bit lower, so there we go. So we'll start with our Predator pellets. Or, sorry, Prometheus. And I'm about 24 inches from the chronograph. So we got 540. That's pretty respectable for an 8.4 grain. $539. $530. Heck of a whack out of this thing. Alright, the 11 grain Hobbies. Now Hobbies, I find they fit a little tighter even in the other Diana, so we always get some weird readings with them. 524. Wow, they're actually flipping out of this thing pretty good. 520. 518. Alright, 14.3 grain Crosman Premier pointed. 492. 491. And we are going to be able to do some shooting today. 492. Alright. Let's go Polymake Predator. 16 grain. 472. 464. This thing definitely has a heck of a good crack to her. 470. Alright, now we're up to the Barracudas, the heavier 21 grain here. 437. That knocks her back. .438. And the last one for the Barracuda. Same, 438. You know, even a 438 with 21 grain, that's... I'm going to do some math on the calculator on the computer. That's going to have some serious whack power to it. Alright. Now I'm pretty impressed with these numbers. That's really, really good. Plenty of power. Staying very consistent. It's not dropping much in FPS per shot, so that's really good. The next thing we got to do, of course, is to find out which of these pellets it's going to like the best. Other than, of course, I am not going to bother try sighting in with the Prometheus pellets because they're just way too light. You're going to lose too much energy, and besides, I can't get any more of these, so I'm using these very sparingly. But certainly we will check with the hobbies, the pointed pellets from Crossman, the Barracudas, and the Predators. And I think I may have another pellet in the house. But I'm going to try sighting this thing in first with open sights and seeing if I can deal with doing that. My eyes are getting older like everybody else's. You know, and we'll see what kind of grouping we can get with that. And then, of course, we are going to throw on a Reaper's 3x12x40 scope onto this thing and dial it in for super precision and see which of these pellets is going to be the ultimate pellet, hopefully, for this gun. If not, I guess I'll have to get some more different brands of pellets. And I am going to try those NSA pellets through the gun as well. So, anyways, this is going to be an instant for you once again, so don't go away. Alright guys, so I've got some RWS Super Point Extras and the Nelson Specialty Ammo as well, the slugs as we call these things. Anyways, I'm going to start with the hobbies, go to the Premiers, then the Predators, Barracudas, Super Point Extras, and we'll leave the Nelsons for last. And I am using my little makeshifty bipoddy thing that I can rest the gun on. And what we want to do first is do some grouping shots to see what's actually going to group or maybe not group. And I'm going to have to sort of sight it in a little bit. Let's see where that one hit. I haven't touched the sights yet. Wow, that's actually, for pointing on the, below the biggest black, that got it right in the bullseye and just to the right a bit. So, we're going to leave the sights alone, put a couple more shots through, change the target, you know the deal. And I figure one more. I figure about 5 of each should be good. Gives us a general idea. And I'll lay each target under each can of pellets as well. Not sure if the hobbies are going to do a wonderful job, but you never know. Okay, on to the crossed and pointeds. All right. Time for the predator pellets. Now I'm aiming at the same spot every time on the target. We're just doing a grouping test today, see what's going to group. Okay. Predators didn't do too bad. Okay, so next up, 21 grain barracudas. I moved a little bit on that one. I wish I had one of those big targets that I could just, have like 6 targets or whatever there and one shot. seems to like the barracudas pretty good. Alright, wind's starting to pick up a bit. We got 2 pellets left to go. Okay, so now it's our RWS Super Point Extras, and these are 14.5 grain. I hope it loves these pellets. Okay, that one might have been a little high, and I think that would have been my fault. Alright, let's grab that. And we're going to shoot slugs next. This ought to be interesting. Wow, that's tight. That's super tight. Looks like I might get my wish after all. Alright, let's try some slugs. Now these are, what are these, 17 grain I think they are? 17.5 grain. So far I don't have a gun that they can shoot straight out of. So I'm expecting that this thing will probably hit my backboard, not the target like all the other guns did. Well, we'll see. Wow, it actually hit the target. Let's get one more just in case that first shot was actually a weird one. All right. Okay guys, let's zoom out. And we'll take a look at what we got. Okay, let me just seal this up. Okay, so Got everything in frame as best as we're going to get it. We're going to do this one at a time. Alright, so this is our hobbies. They're not going to sight in on this gun. Not with that kind of a spread on the grouping. Not happening. Crossman pointed Premiers. Now they didn't do too badly, but we did have an off-shooter. Possibly me, but still too far of a spread. You know, because you're going one side to the other. That's not going to sight in either. Predator polymags. Well, they stayed in this area and then they started to stitch their way. I'm not too sure about these ones. I might have to try the polymag shorts in this gun. These are the longs. So I'll have to try the shorts and see if there's any improvement. But I personally don't like that grouping. Now the Barracudas did exceptionally well, and you know, plus or minus a little bit of even smidgen of my moving, they're in a nice tight group. This has a lot of potential, Very impressed with that. Okay, the Super Point Extras. Now that is a very impressive grouping in there. We got a couple in the same hole, one here, one there. I think that the Super Point Extras are going to be the key main winner, and they're going to run the fastest too. Okay. Well, not the fastest out of all the pellets, but the fastest between them and the Barracudas. And I did have some really good luck with the Barracudas with my QB. It actually runs them quite nicely too. So we definitely got some good stuff going there. Now, the Nelson specialty ammo. Our first shot ended up here. Now, I've always been aiming right here in order to get into the bullseye. I am dealing with a factory sight setup, and that's where I'm aiming. And it's a lot easier, too, to aim at this spot to see some of the white. I'm 33 feet away, so, you know. But then they started to group up here afterwards, which, I mean, that's about the size of a loony or a toonie. If you live in Canada, you know what I'm talking about, okay? But the fact of the erraticness of it, they're not going to sight in on this gun. So that concludes our preliminary grouping tests. So now it's down to the Barracudas and the Super Point Extras. As far as my collection goes, I would give the Grizzlies a try, but I can't get the Grizzlies very often. I really am not keen on shooting wad cutters. I don't personally like them other than for paper puncher guns. And this is not your typical paper puncher gun. This thing is great for punching paper. It's great for targeting. It's going to be really good for doing some decent precision targeting. You guys have seen my resetting deer trap with the different eyepieces. That's what this gun's going to be for, is to get super accurate with it. So I don't want to run wad cutters, but I am going to put the scope on the gun on the next test. We will dial it. I'll dial the gun in ahead of time, see which one of these dials in the best with the scope. Then we'll do a full-on accuracy test. And then go from there. I mean, the gun could definitely benefit from a bipod, like any rifle would, because of maximum stability. But I am still dealing with this stand for now. I do have the mounts to put a bipod on this gun. And I do have a bipod I can score from another rifle. So that's not a big deal. I'm going to be scoring the Leaper scope off my QB to put on this one. Because I also want to do for you guys a comparison video between the 22 caliber and the 177. Now, I am very impressed with this gun so far. It is doing amazingly well. You know, I'm very impressed with it. Now, I did have to tighten up all the screws, by the way. They all had a little bit of play in them, especially that barrel band. There's 2 screws on that. You've got to really make sure it's snug. Otherwise, forget accuracy. You know, it's going to be a little whooshy, like I did experience with my 177, until I actually tightened up the barrel band, and that thing is deadly with the Hades pellets. And I do want to get a can of Hades pellets for this and try Hades through, because they might be just as good as well. But I have to wait until Airgun Source has them back in stock. So that concludes this video, and once again, thank you so much, Travis from Airgun Source, for sending me this gun to check out. We do have more on this. There will be a written review, by the way, guys, on Airgun Source's website once I actually do the review for this, which is going to be coming. I got to wait for another nice day. We got some thunder showers on the way for the next day or two. So hopefully by Friday, I'm crossing my fingers, we can have the scope on this thing and we can start doing some main accuracy testing with it. And of course, you know, we do have to do the review. I still want to also try out the mag that comes with it. Now I did notice one thing with my 177 version of this gun is that when you go from a single load tray, which is where I have it dialed in at for dead-on accuracy, and you go and you use the loader, right, the multi-shot loader, it does affect your point of impact, because I think the pellets, because of the amount of tension, I guess they're under, they get a little bit of a, maybe a kink or something in the skirt on the way through, because of the spring load mechanism or something. So I did notice that there was some off accuracy with that. I want to see if the same thing's going to happen here, of course. It's not major, okay, it's just a little bit out. It's nothing more than a click, and you should be right back on fine. You know, so you will notice a difference, and that's what I did notice. I want to see if that same thing is going to creep up on this gun or not. You know, nobody's mentioned this, of course, and there's very few videos on YouTube even on either caliber, like I said. Other than my channel is getting swamped with this gun, and now in both calibers. But I really do love the gun. It's very nice. It's actually above my expectations, even for the power levels. It's doing really exceptionally well. It's very close on the mark, so that's good. But anyways, so that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of our initial setup. Now, keep in mind this is all open sights. We're 10 meters away, so 33 feet. And I did not touch the factory settings. I brought the screwdriver out in case I needed to. But, you know, I figured, why try and dial in something? We got to find out what's going to group, you know. And but the gun will definitely dial in these two pellets for sure without any difficulties. And these Barracudas will knock it back to, I think it was about 430 somethings we ended up with on the chronograph on that one. I'll recheck my video, and I'm going to do some math. And now we didn't Chrony the super points, and that's not a big deal. They're not much different than the 14.3s, so you know there'll be very little difference there. Anyway, that's it. That's all, and we shall see you on the next video with this gun with the scope on it, and see just how accurate and nasty this thing really is. Till then, catch you on the next one.